Next up, Texas focuses on defensive linemen. The focus has been narrowed by Kenny Baker and the staff of guys they want. So I'll list off these guys. Most of them are visiting this summer, and if they're not visiting, they're going to try to get them on campus. So we got Jermaine Winfield from Texas, Damari Simeon from New Jersey. So we talked about that, Gerald. I want him to hit up that DMV type area. Well, guess what? They have two guys on here from that, so that's exciting. James Johnson is from Florida. Kendall Gerville is from Florida. Valdon Stone, here we go, from Virginia. Tico Crindon from Georgia. Vodney Cleveland from Alabama. Dylan Berryman, who is a stud from Louisiana. Richard Anderson, who's committed to LSU as of this moment, also from Louisiana. Bryce Perry Wright, who we've talked about a little bit already, from Georgia. And Elijah Golden from Florida. So a lot of Florida, Georgia guys on here, which is very exciting. Like we said, we're finally getting into these places, establishing our hooks in them, and then taking some of their players. Who are some of your I guess favorites on this list?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Stone and Cleveland are like the two big shiny ones, right? Top 50 guys. But I watched Jamion Winfield's tape, and that guy like jumps. Go look at his junior highlights on Huddle. That dude is a freak. Like quick first step, explosive. He can play. He's played inside. He's played outside. He's played like a 3 technique, a 5 technique, and an outside linebacker. Pretty wild for a guy who's like pushing 300 pounds. Absolutely moves way faster than somebody who's pushing, like I think 285, 290 is what they have him listed at, which is absolutely silly. But he's a guy who, like when you watch film and you just see like that's the D1 guy, he jumps off the tape at you. There's another one that wasn't on your list that I want Texas fans to like just think about. Tiki Hola from Bastrop. He is an undersized kid, 6'2", 285. I love the way that kid uses his hands. Like he has active hands. He blocked 3 freaking kicks last year. Like insane for a guy who's 6'2", playing defensive tackle to block kicks. So like that's another guy that I like. He's not high on the Texas board, but I think he's going to go somewhere and be a dude. He's right around the corner from Texas. Maybe he's a late cycle offer for them if they need to add a body in that room. But Winfield is a guy, obviously, probably my favorite of the group. Just watching him, he's an absolute monster. And with a kid like that in the state of Texas has to land him.
No, I agree. I think a lot of these Texas kids, you'd like to get at least 1 or 2 of them to, establish your recruiting base a little bit better. I don't think Texas hasn't been bad at that under Sark, but It isn't as good as I don't think us Texas fans would like it to be at sometimes. Manuel Ruffin is someone else I forgot on this list. I have him here, 6'5", 290 pounds from Alabama. The guy that sticks out to me is Bryce Perry Wright. He's 6'2", 250 pounds, and you look at that, it's like, damn, that guy is pretty small for a defensive lineman. But it's the body type that they want. It's a long, lengthy guy that's explosive, period. That's what they want. And then they figure out the weight as it goes. Like we saw that. We've seen that with guys on campus. If they needed to put on 20 pounds, they put on 20 pounds. Like Cameron Williams, we saw him 370 steps on campus. At the NFL Combine, he's 317. So if they need the weight to come off, they'll take it off. If they need it to come on, they'll put it on. But if they like the frame, they like the explosiveness, they like the versatility, that's what they recruit to, especially on the defensive and offensive lines. And I think that guy fits the bill. Again, I love when we take guys from Georgia because, again, you're establishing a recruiting base in Georgia, and you don't have to line up against them. Because, listen, guys, I'm here to tell you, with Kirby Smart on the sidelines and Steve Sarkisian on the sidelines, I think we're going to see a lot of Georgia, Texas, SEC championship games or big-time football games between those two. So if we can take someone from that state and bring them to Texas and have them develop, that is a very big positive thing. And I think that's also why we need to make Justice Terry hit in a big way as well.
Yeah. It's good that you mentioned him because I almost anticipate this being like a smaller group at defensive tackle just because they have Terry, Charles, and Sharma from last year's class. Like 2025 was a loaded year and Texas did really well. So I don't anticipate Texas taking another 3 guys like they did last year. It's probably going to be a 1 to 2, like a smaller class of that interior defensive line.
No, that's a good point. I agree. I think it'll be the opposite. I think offensive line will have a big class. Defensive line will probably have a smaller class. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. He said, Bevo's bodyguard, we appreciate you being here. When have we ever got a player from Barstrop or Batstrop?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I like the kid. That's all. If Texas doesn't want him, that's great. I just like the way his hands work. He's an active player. I like active defensive linemen. And again, 6'2" blocking kicks, silly.
No, that's true. And that's the thing too. It's hard to tell because I agree there are certain high school pipelines that don't really pan out that well.
Oh, yeah.
But like, has the coaching staff changed? Has their strength and conditioning program changed? All that stuff matters as well. So it's going to be very interesting. That's a good point you bring up, but we'll have to see. And this guy, I don't think I watched tape. I think he's an okay player, but I'm big on getting your hooks into certain areas and certain states. Stone, it would be a massive win for Texas to go up to Virginia and get someone that highly recruited and wanted by a lot of different teams. That's very hard for us to do. Like I said, I don't know the last time Texas went up there and got like a really good football player, even a good football player. It's kind of like Travis Shaw coming over from North Carolina. We really haven't gotten into North Carolina football. We haven't really gotten to Virginia football. We haven't really gotten to New Jersey football, and they recruit a lot of good football players. So if we can land someone like Valen Stone, who's a good football player, that would help out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Stone, obviously, everybody likes Stone. I think he's a top 50 kid on 247 or the composite. I'm not sure which one. But obviously, getting the more hooks you can get in the more regions, get your face out there, get your brand out there. Recruiting is national, regardless of what school you are and what region you are. So part of the issue, or not issue, but like part of the thing we have to like reconcile with is like, Mac Brown would not really ever leave the state of Texas unless it was like a super special kid, like a Ricky Williams, right? Or something like that. But that's not necessarily how recruiting is nowadays. It's national. You've got multiple services. You've got Huddle. You've got On3, 247. You've got Inside. All of these national recruiting services. So there's but getting your hooks in the more regions, getting the name, getting your name recognition, coaches anticipating you being there, high schools anticipating you being there. If it's just one or two kids, it's a win.
Yeah, 100%. And again, if they hit and they do well and they like it there, then that continues to grow the brand and you're able to get guys there easier. And I think it's, Austin's kind of a perfect spot now. You have a couple good airports down in Texas that are close to Austin. And then also you're in the middle of the country. You can fly anywhere you want. Really, I think there's direct flights almost anywhere in the country to Austin. So I think that's a pitch as well. And I would love to get someone like that. Another guy that I really like, and I just love the size, 6'5", 310 pounds, Kendall Gerville. I think he's a really good football player. This is a guy that'd be really nice to get. You can probably put on another 30 pounds and he can just plug up the middle, play a little bit of nasty football, a lot like Bill Norton, which I know people were freaking out because he had that little announcement on Twitter and it was like, oh my gosh, he's come back for 1 year, but he didn't have any eligibility. I would have loved him back because he flowered at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he's my perfect defensive tackle. Like, I don't need a bunch of stats from you. Just sit your big behind down in the middle and the linebacker shine. That's all I need from you. You're my ideal.
Bevo's bodyguard also said, get Ojo and Turntine, and I'm happy. If we can get that for the offensive line, we talked about that. Turntine is a must get. If you don't get Turntine, that's a big L. But that's the thing too. Sark, when he is recruiting, there's always that one or two guys in a class that you say you have to get this guy, and he's hit on almost all of them, other than Decoria Moore. I think that's really the only one of like, we have to get this guy. We'll go all out on this guy. We have to get him. And that's the only one I can think of we didn't get. We got everyone else that we've really wanted.
Yeah, and Decoria Moore was such a weird recruitment. It looked like he was looking for any reason not to go to Texas. So it's just one of those, like, if he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, he was looking for reasons not to commit to Texas from the outside. I don't have any inside sources. I'm not a source guy when it comes to him, but like from the outside, from the way that recruitment shook up, it looked like he was looking for any reason not to go to Texas. So like, I chalk that one up, just charge it to the game and keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's everyone's saying he's gonna, like, when he comes, he's gonna commit, never committed, and then went to Oregon a week later. But yeah, this defensive line class can be special. Most of these guys will be on campus. We'll see if we can get a couple of these other guys on campus. We'll see if we can flip Richard Anderson from Louisiana from LSU to Texas. I think that job becomes much easier if LSU has a bad year or not a great year even. Like if they go 9-3, there's a good chance Brian Kelly gets fired.
And Bo Davis is already out the door. So, like, you've got that in right there. Like, Bo Davis being gone at LSU, very happy about that.
Yeah, 100%. It kind of worked out for Texas. I think we got a really good defensive line coach, and who knows if he would have been there. He could be like a defensive line coach in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
That's how that works. And then Bo Davis is off to LSU for 1 year, and then he leaves to the NFL. So it kind of worked out in the end.
Yeah, I think Texas made out really well with that exchange.
Thank you guys for being here again. Hit that like button, subscribe down below. It really helps out the channel.